Hi, it's Private Matthew Reske here. I started wrestling when I was a little kid, around like 5 or 6, and it was my dad. He introduced me to it, even though he wasn't a big wrestler himself. So I've been wrestling for a really long time, and there's been times where I really wanted to quit, but my dad made me follow through and told me if I quit, you'll regret it, and I would have. So I'm glad that he made me do it, and I really like wrestling. My dad has been like my coach and like my mentor, and he's always been like making sure I eat properly, make sure I work out enough, make sure I drink enough water, make sure I'm not sick. Honestly, without him, I probably wouldn't be making it this far. I'm pretty nervous, but I'm pretty confident. Been thinking about it a lot, what I'm gonna do, what can I do to improve. I have a bunch of family, like my dad, my uncles, my brothers. They all serve. My brother, Tommy, called me from, I think it was AIT, and he was like, dude, you can join like literally right now, and it will help me out because I'll get a bunch of money and I get a promotion. And I was like, you know what, I already think about like joining for like juniors. You go to basic training and then you complete basic. I went to Fort Jackson, South Carolina. It was very fun, but hard because it was like first time being away for that long. But it was definitely fun since I met a bunch of new people, and they're very good people, and I really enjoyed it, especially my drill sergeants. Even though they're screaming their heads off, you can tell that they truly care about you, only want what's best for you. Then you come back to school, and then you do this thing called RSP while you're in school. That pretty much like make sure you know like all your ranks and all your custom and courtesies, and just make sure you're still like on your military bearing. And then you'll do that until you go back to AIT, and then you finish your job training, and then you go to your unit. I'm not entirely sure what to expect, but I guess looking forward to learn about like military equipment, like because last time I expected like what basic training was going to be like was way different. So I was just like, you know what, I'll just go in, not expect anything, and go on from there. Like going to basic and RSP has taught me like discipline. I always struggled with that, always being late, but ever since I went to basic training, I've been showing up more on time, being more respectful to my teachers, my friends, always like give them like respect, saying Mr. or Mrs. So it's been kind of cool to show how much I've changed from being in the Army. I always wanted to become a pilot, but I was talking to my parents and my brothers, and they're always like, well, I know you want to be a pilot like really bad, but you should always have a plan B. So they told me like you should get a mechanic or some kind of trade job in the National Guard. So I was like, yeah, I think you're right, because I still have training in mechanics. Hopefully I'll attend Rocky Mountain College in Billings. The Guard like waived the tuition, so that would be pretty nice to go to college without paying a whole lot and going to debt. I think if you're considering, I think you should do it because it gives you something else outside of sports and school, and sometimes that can be very boring. And if you join the National Guard, you have something else to do, and it takes like no time away from your sports or your school. Call your sergeant or text them, be like, I can't go make it because I have practice or a meet or a tournament. And so it takes literally nothing away from your time, and you get a bunch of benefits for your schooling and healthcare and all that stuff. When you get to meet new people, overall, like joining the National Guard is the way to go. So I think you should just do it, and I have no regrets. I think being in the National Guard was one of the best decisions I've made in my life.